Hey, everybody, it's a win. Hey, I've been rewarded in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if I put this up on Twitter or not.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
Yeah, that's how I got in.
Okay, very good. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Browns post-game show. The Cleveland Browns winners today, 26-20. Everything I was laughing with Brian. Everything's taking a little bit longer today because I had to go to the bathroom, but going to the bathroom was a little bit more complicated now with the knee replacement that I got 2 days ago than it normally would be. I'm not exactly hopping around, you know. So I can also go check out everybody in the chat room. And there we are. And hello to the people in the chat room. Hello to Anthony Stone and Mr. X, and to Jeff and Bama. How you doing? Can't stay for the show, he said, but I told you I'd shock and amaze. I told you, Jeff and Bama, I would shock and amaze. Me and Muhammad Ali. Hey, that's right, Roxanne. Go Browns. Go Browns. Gotta love it. Oh, yeah. And that's the kind of game you like to win, man. That's the kind of game you like to win. Do you think that the others are going to show up from the panel? I know that Rick's not, because he has an engagement he has to be at.
Okay. Well, and we have Jim apparently from his car.
Hammer time.
Yep, I'm here.
Hooah! There he is behind the wheel. Yeah. And I didn't imagine we'd see Tony the Calf after I chastised him so. And
well, if you're going to blame anybody for that, please go ahead and blame me, because
you're too good a guy. I'm not gonna. No, you didn't say anything about me not being able to recover.
Because he had asked me, how long do you think he's going to be out? And I said, well, I don't know. It could be,
that's right,
Monday before we hear from him.
That's right. I mean,
because I didn't know if you were going to get discharged or what was going to happen. So
it's all day to day. It's the way I look at things is everything is day to day. How you doing, Jim Hammer?
I'm doing great, especially after that. Holy smoke!
Yeah, well, that's all wins are good wins, and one day we will reach a day where the Browns trust Baker Mayfield to get the first down instead of the defense, but it won't be when Greg Williams is the head coach of the team. Defensive coordinators always do this. They always go back and they go with what they feel their strength is, and he is a defensive coordinator. And it worked this time. It worked out. So I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to bitch about it, because the first throw, I mean, look, this isn't the same Cam Newton that I have seen in years past. He's clearly hurting, and that the ball was sailing on him. Even some of the balls that were caught were sailing on him. So I guess in the end, nothing really surprises me too much. Hey, Doggy Bones! Corby, KB and Corpus. There he is. KB and Corpus has been a viewer for a long time. How are things in Corpus Christi? Oh, great town. Great town. Oh, yeah. St. Padre Island. Woo! And G. Copello.
Talk about the hind tit of the earth.
Yeah. Hi to G. Copello. Go Browns. You got that right. It wasn't. If it wasn't for Hugh, we would be in the playoffs. Yeah, Cincinnati could say the same thing. How many times does a team, more than one team, get to use the same excuse on the same guys? Unreal. And there's Bronk. Moo, I love Demarius Randall. It's like Minifield. Yeah, he was in the right place at the right time, and it helps when somebody throws the ball in the middle of nowhere, literally over everybody's head, I guess.
Yeah, he's definitely got better hands than Felix Wright.
Yeah. And can you believe the Miami Dolphins beat the New England Patriots? So I can officially say, fuck you, Bill Belichick, just because I can get away with it.
And the Texans lost too.
Really?
Streak's over. We lost to the Colts.
See, now
I told you, if you overlook the Colts, you're going to get burned.
And you know something, Steven? I want to do something, okay?
Yeah.
Here you go. You watching me?
Yeah.
My
ego is gone.
But no, let me tell you something, though. Better you lose to the Colts in week 14. And how bad did you lose to the Colts?
We lost by 3, but we lost 2 receivers today. So we were down to 2 receivers.
Not Hopkins, I hope.
Oh, we lost Kuti and that number 14, that rookie we drafted. We were just down to Demarion Thomas and Hopkins, and then we had to put Joe Webb in at our third quarterback.
Quarterback.
Yeah, we had to put Joe Webb in receiver.
Oh gosh.
Holy.
Yeah, that's not a real good situation. Yeah, let me I gotta crank Brian's volume up a little here so he's a little more hearable. But yeah, better you get it out of the way now. And I got nothing against the Texans, fine football team. But these streaks were made to be broken, and you want, it's just like the Patriots lost this week. It's not a big deal. You got to play your best football in the second season. For the Browns, what a great win at 5-7-1. We're pushing the envelope toward a 500 season, despite all of the crazy shit that's gone down. It's really wonderful to see that the Browns are doing, and there's Bitter Truth. Bitter Truth is in the house.
Hey, what's going on with you? You all right?
Yeah. No, I had a knee replacement 2 days ago, a total new knee replacement.
Okay.
And that makes me, it does definitely make me more of a man than you. So there you have it. Okay. No. But there were questions about how long it would take for me to get back on the air. But, we did some really good planning in this ergonomically in the bedroom. So that I have a nice desk and I'm set up. Right now I'm running a continuous ice machine and compression on my knee. So all of this stuff is great. And my wife is helping me out. The show wouldn't be possible if she wasn't wheeling me in and out. It was great. I had to go to the restroom at the very tail end, and it was like, I got to go to the restroom. But you got to plan everything in advance because everything takes longer than what you think it's going to take. So I just got down just in time to watch Cam Newton throw the final pick. So that was kind of cool.
And Mr. Moody, how long was the surgery?
Say again.
How long was the surgery? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I can answer one question at a time. How long was the surgery? 2 hours. It was a 2-hour procedure. They thought it was going to be 1 hour. The knee was really bad. They had to cut out more. I'm not sure what all that means, except they said that it went well, and that's that. So a 2-hour procedure. The reason I wasn't able to do the show yesterday was, on Friday was because I was originally scheduled for 8:30 in the morning, and they ended up putting me at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the last surgery of the day, so that by the time that I got out from under anesthesia and got back home, it was already like 5:45, and I was in no shape. I was sick as a dog. I didn't throw up, fortunately, but the anesthesia was just bad fucking news. 2 hours of that, and and the pain medication and all that, which I'm adapted to now. So fun. So what do you think, Bitter Truth? What do you think?
I think they finally got Landry involved in the game plan, but some of the weaknesses still showed itself as far as the linebacking core and the interior defensive line. But overall, what I love is that they do not quit. This team has a lot of grit and moxie, and all of that is because of Baker Mayfield and that coaching staff. And as we sit here and keep talking about new head coach and offensive coordinator and whatnot, I don't see what's wrong with what we have in place. I mean, of course, it was a stupid decision to re-kick a maybe.
No. You had no choice in that. No, it was a dead ball penalty, which means the play had not started yet.
Okay, so I was distracted by
no options. You never take points off the board.
The house. Okay, I get it. All right.
Yeah.
So, but outside of that, I rewrap this linebacking core and the interior line and get a bona fide number 1 wide receiver. I don't see. Oh, and also a new corner, because good Lord, who is 38?
Games.
TJ Carey.
Carey. Oh my God. The last time I seen the Browns corner this bad was who was that kid that was opposite of Joe Hayden? He was supposed to have been the nickel. He wound up going to the Jets. He cost us the Dallas game a few years ago, back when he was, dag, I cannot think of his name. But
I can only go by number.
Right, his technique was horrible. He has a horrible technique.
Yeah, TJ Carey, he's human Velcro. I mean, his arms get stuck to the receiver no matter what position he's in.
Bronx, UK.
Buster Screen, yeah. Yeah, Buster Screen, yeah.
Horrible technique.
Yeah, Navarre says, I don't know what this guy's talking about. He's talking about Buster Screen and his lousy technique, and he did go to the Jets. Yeah, let me see. We got a bunch of people in the chat room. Chris Devine, Browns, I'm loving this. Beth Poonsalon, Cleveland. Yeah, back to back. The Cavaliers, now the Browns. Good 2 days for Cleveland sports. What do you think? Maybe I should get knee replacements every weekend. Demarius should have handed the ball back to Cam, and gotten a penalty and extended the game. That's really no. Our kicker makes you drink, Wable. He drinks. I mean, everyone he misses, he kicks dead square in the middle of the ball and hooks it. This is a mechanical problem for him. I mean, you see his ball when it leaves the ground and it's a nice fluffy high kick. It's not a problem. But the ones that he's missed this year are struck dead square in the middle of the game and in the ball. It's really weird.
Knucklers.
Yeah, exactly. Knuckleballs. That's exactly right. And that's right. I have a Homer Simpson bed that goes up and bed goes down and goes up. Yeah. It's thank goodness, thank goodness that I have this stuff, because I would never be able to do this without the equipment.
Lifetime supply of Duff beer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And look, I even have my Jackson Honest chips, my lime tortilla chips, if I so desire. If I so desire. Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that I looked at the schedule after we beat the Bengals, it was two games that I knew that one of them was probably a loss and one of them was probably a win. Of course, that being the Texans, that was probably a loss, and of course we lost that one. And this one being a probable win, and we got it. In all honesty, the only tough team that I see we would have to play the rest of the year is the Ravens, which we already beat.
Yeah, but the Ravens, did they win today? They were beating the Chiefs.
Playing. When I came downstairs, they were still playing.
No, it's 4th and 22. Robert,
one at a time. Stephen, what?
It's 4th and 22 for the Ravens in overtime. They have to convert here, and Robert Griffin the turd is in because Jackson got injured.
Oh, are you kidding? How did he get hurt?
Whoever tackled him from behind swung him by the neck and drove him down.
So he got hurt by eventuality.
Yeah, I mean, when you run the football like this in this league, you're not going to last. And we say this over and over again. And, and I know that there are going to be people on Twitter who will defend, but the fact of the matter is that you've got to have more of a balance, and if you're going to get, that's why you have running backs or big guys to run the football. That's why Duke Johnson doesn't run the ball from scrimmage very much, because he wouldn't hold up.
Best Impact said they just lost. So did DC Gaming. So, and Steven. Oh, well. So here's the thing. I really think that the Browns can win out for the rest of the year. I think they can do it. I think they can finish above 500, which gives us severe hope for next year.
Oh, I think we already have hope for next year. I think that it's becoming more and more clear that we have the best young quarterback in the game. I mean, the league recognizes it too. I mean, let's be honest. When you run promos and you're referring to him as Baker, everybody knows who he is at this point. People are not walking into Cleveland surprised. They are game planning for this young man. And today we found a way to win when they were taking things away from Baker in the second half with a big play, the inside handoff twice, once for a touchdown, once for a 6-yard run by Jarvis Landry. Those were two clever calls. It's an important catch on third down by Perriman to extend the drive a little to force that. Go ahead.
Great. No, I was backing you up. That was a great catch by him on third down.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you win football games. You force them to use all of their timeouts. And in the end, that, one pass is all they got at the end of the game. And right now, the Panthers, I mean, I'm amazed that Ron Rivera still has a job, to be very honest with you. I don't think he's going to at the end of the year. So,
hey, Moo.
Yeah.
How do you have Christian McCaffrey and Cam Newton and second and goal at the 3-yard, third, and neither one of them gets the ball on either of the last two plays?
Yeah.
That's just plain dumb.
Yeah, something, and the passes that were thrown were bullets. They were really thrown hard and away from the receivers. It looked like his accuracy waned as the game progressed. And I'm serious what I said at halftime. Everything that he was doing was over the middle. And when the ball had to go outside, it really wasn't going outside with distance because of the shoulder problem that he has. That was ugly. I mean, you give up the ball in that situation, and McCaffrey had made it in so many times, it seemed, against the Browns defense. They were just moving the line out. I was surprised that they just threw the ball 3 times. It was very unusual.
Well, what I noticed in the fourth quarter was that they started keying in on McCaffrey. Like they just took him away from their offense. That's why we were able to come back and take the lead. And down there in the goal line, I mean, if you notice, the linebackers locked in on McCaffrey. They didn't care what was going on the outside. They were not going to give him any type of running room whatsoever.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he was just making things happen on his own sometimes. There is that one play where he got the ball out in space in that last drive, not the final one, but the one before where they didn't make it in the end zone. He had a play where they just threw it out there. We had the play covered, and he just duped the guy right out of his jock strap and got 8 yards out of it.
Yeah, well, that was kindred. That was kindred spirit, and I think anybody could fake that man out of his jock strap. Guys, Casper, the friendly ghost. I mean, we were sacked once. That's correct, Cindy. Baker was sacked once. They did manage in the second half to put a little pressure on him. They didn't do anything in the first half whatsoever. That's not John Goodman. That is Jim Hammer from Columbus, Ohio. So,
well, if you notice, I mean, there's a reason why they call Ron Rivera Riverboat, Rivera, Riverboat Gambler Rivera, because he didn't want to take that chance. So he figured that he could win it on the arm of Cam Newton, Mr. Sore-shouldered Cam Newton, which I am not angry with at all whatsoever. If that's what you want to do, you go ahead.
Well, I mean, defensive coordinators leave it up to their defense. I've never known a Marty Schottenheimer kind of guy who felt any differently. Derek Frisbee is telling us, hey, guys, I couldn't be on the panel because my Chromebook got taken away because I have a D in mathematics. However, I have an AAABD, so I'll get it back soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, poor Derek. More information than we needed to know. But, the thing is that I feel badly that I don't know. What do you go to a socialist school? What the fuck is that? I mean, the free laptop policy, and until you don't get the grade, and I hope that you're not a math major.
I think that was a parental confiscation.
Ah, okay, all right. This is great because.
At least that's the way I interpret it. I mean, he does look like a 12-year-old.
I could be because my Chromebook got taken away. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that Derek is so young, I'm sorry. So mom and dad confiscated it,
Yeah, You know, that's a good thing. It's good that we've got young Browns fans amidst us old folks.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't help his math score to pull him off the panel. I mean, this guy could be the next great broadcaster, and he's never going to need math. Come on, Mom. Come on, Dad. Get with it. Yikes.
Browns won. They should get a pass for that.
That's right. I mean, he should be able to celebrate on here with us. This is great because I got the TV right in front of me. This is awesome. So, I can watch like the I'm not going to watch the Steelers or the Raiders. That's for goddamn sure. I want to see Huey Jackson at the Chargers. I want to see Huey,
Chargers are up 7-0. When I came downstairs, they had just scored.
Oh,
the only late game
is
that
blacked out?
The only late game that I'll get is the Cardinals game.
It says all of this it says it's blacked out on this channel.
I have NFL Red Zone.
What the hell is this? I'm gonna have to. They must be showing it last second nationally. Is the second end of as a doubleheader? That's the only thing I can think of. Wow,
man. Mr. Muad, Tom Brady is now 7-10 in Miami. Can you believe that?
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was crazy. That was like I thought the Stanford band was gonna march.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. That's sick.
I have never celebrated the ending of a football game for another team like that in my life because I hate the Patriots just that much.
Well, I mean, to me, the Patriots are, they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Bill Belichick and them were choking on their Cristal when they were drinking. They probably assumed they were going to win, and as soon as they scored, they started choking and shit. So I had to give them
Oh, Derek Frisbee has answered, I'm 16 going on 17, so fuck you. So, yeah, somebody asked if he was 15. So,
No,
there's
I
a certain
look
age
like
you don't want. Yeah. You don't want to admit to being a certain age.
Song about that.
Boy, the Bengals look like they've just given up. And let's see what else we have. Doggy Bone saying Tony started here as a teenager, and that didn't turn out so well. Yeah, that's true. I mean, he didn't take my guidance, and he continued to drink and gamble. This is, but I don't think that Derek's that kind of a kid. He doesn't add, subtract, multiply, and divide very well.
He's also not stuck in Minnesota, northern Minnesota.
Yeah. Derek is saying the TD throw to Jarvis made me jump out of my seat. So how about that? Yeah. I mean, boy, that ball was put where he got it and he was able to wrestle it down. And I mean, the thing about, my God, Baker at the beginning of the game, I mean, the only thing that he didn't complete, it seemed, was the ball that Higgins dropped that was a sure touchdown, Yeah. I had a feeling that we really needed to get ahead in this game, and force Cam to beat us because, playing from behind the whole time is not really the best circumstance. So, I think on the overall, I'm thrilled with the way that it went down. I have some statistics, as I often do. I try to keep things going. They
really stymied McCaffrey in the first half.
Yeah, and the time of possession remained at about a 7-minute advantage for them. So it was an even time of possession in the second half. We talked about what teams needed to do, and by and large, both teams made some defensive adjustments that helped the cause of both teams. But the box score on this game, you can't ask for any better. A 126.9 rating. 1 sack, 1 TD, 18 of 22. It wasn't on Baker's list here in the second half. Nick Chubb with 13 carries, 66 yards, and again over 5-yard average. Jarvis Landry, of course, with 2 big carries that really helped the team tremendously. The Browns receiving was spread out. What there was, Perriman had 2 and Landry had 3 and Njoku had 3. I was surprised the one that Njoku actually caught in his fingertips. That surprised me. Even Hilliard caught 2. Higgins had a bad game. And even Orson Welles I'm sorry, Orson Charles had 1 catch for 9 yards.
Calling Orson, come in, Orson.
It's like,
Now, who did he replace? Charles. Who did he replace? Or is he supposed to be in place of our fullback?
Yeah, he's basically playing the H-back role because of Vitali not being there anymore.
Okay.
well, I will say this though, and the complaint that I have, and I always have some kind of a complaint, and it's not the pain talking either, Brian, so that you know. Jarvis Landry fumbling that ball, it was inexcusable holding that ball out like that and exposing that football. That's hot dog shit, and I don't know what he's thinking, you know?
Yeah.
They did have 2 50-yard plays in the same game.
Look, I'm just saying though, veterans can't do shit like that. It's one thing to have the ball in your wrong hand in the first place, but holding it out there and waving it around when you're near your own goal line, not a good thing. You know, the fact that Baker had a fumble, Richard had a fumble as well. I mean, the Browns got away with 3 turnovers and survived, which in many cases is not the case. Demarius Randall had the big, a big game, 9 tackles, 8 of them solo. Jamie Collins, I don't care what the stats say. I just see $12 million in front of that guy's name, and I just don't see anything in him. I just don't. I just don't see a damn thing in him. I'm not moved. You know, Myles Garrett got himself a sack. Woo-hoo.
Maybe we
He
can
had one
pick up
taken
Eddie
away.
Johnson and get him to play the position again.
Yeah, Brian Body Calhoun, he made a stupid play. Carey was awful. I mean, I don't know. Carey just holds on to the guy the second he leaves the line of scrimmage. Ogunjobi, if he was supposed to be a decoy, he was a decoy, all right. He shouldn't be playing with the torn bicep. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But, the one big interception by Demarius Randall, how many of you just, first of all, how many cried at the end of Old Yeller? Come on. All right. And the second one is how many people were yelling, "Get on the ground!" after Demarius Randall intercepted the pass.
Sorry, we were hugging and jumping up and down once he got that interception.
It's like, go down, man, go down.
I'm surprised he didn't get up and hand the ball to Ron Rivera.
Yeah, I know. It's like, a 19-yard punt return by Jabril Peppers without a flag being thrown. This is a cause for celebration, right? But you look at then the Carolina Panthers, and if you just look at the stats, Cam Newton, 1 sack and 1 interception, but by the time you figure in all the other efficiencies, only a 70 rating. That just doesn't get the job done. And to tell you the truth, it's like the old line. It's not just that he is disappointing. He is consistently disappointing. Cam Newton, there is no Superman under that uniform anymore. Whatever the story is there, it just, and holding McCaffrey to only 3.9 yards per carry is good. Curtis Samuel with 4 receptions, Ian Thomas, going over the middle time and time again in the first half. We finally got that squared away a little bit. DJ Moore with 5 receptions, and McCaffrey with 6 receptions, but for only about 6 yards per. On the overall, you knew that Kuechly would end up leading the team in tackles. He did with the 11 total tackles. He's fine football player, but only 1 sack, and that's the line doing well. 2 more holds on Greg Robinson, and there are people who are starting to take a little note about what's going on at left tackle and whether that's going to be allowed to continue next year. I would say that it's certainly better than Desmond Harrison, but at the same time, I don't know. The left tackle position is so important.
On that quarterback rating, that's under the old system where the top ranking or the peak is 158.3, and Cam ended up at a 70. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to win that way. And, you know, again, Rivera, for all the Riverboat Gambler bullshit, he's always been a defensive guy. And I've never really been impressed with that whole situation there. And you saw it again. You know, they had opportunities that they didn't cash in. And frankly, they didn't look like a team that was really overly inspired. Let's put it that way.
Now they didn't look at the 4-2 start that they had. They've whatever little chance they had completely is gone after this loss.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what 6 in a row that they've lost.
Yeah, 6 and 7. Yeah.
So that means they were 6-1. They were 6-1.
Yeah, 6-1. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a total collapse.
Ray Cruz out of jail. Maybe they can get him back.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, he's.
If not, they know where to stuff Ron Rivera.
Yeah, well, the thing that really flashes with the Panthers is that they're 1-6 on the road now. You know, so and the Browns are 4-2-1 at home. How about that? You know, they're rewarding the home fans with some quality football, right?
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. I mean,
remember last year's Week 14 game? I think there were like 500 people in the stands.
Well, yeah, these games matter now because you want to show up and see, you know, the team has a chance to win.
On StubHub last year, the last 2 Browns games were going for $4 on StubHub.
Wow.
$4.
How much are they going for now?
I had a guy offer me $64 to go last year. That was the worst part.
Yeah, now Perfnat says Cam Newton only cares about Cam Newton. What a diva. Yeah, I know that is really, he's not made a lot of friends. That I do know. And his career has not blossomed the way a lot of, just not blossomed the way that people thought. You know, the thing with quarterbacks in the NFL is, you know, it's a guy like Luck, like an Andrew Luck, who was supposed to be the next Drew Brees, right? We tend, when guys have good starts to their careers, and it is a trap of sorts, that we expect them to go on and have these really incredible destiny-driven futures. But, quarterbacks, Cam is a guy who he has a unique skill set. He has a strong arm when he doesn't have a bad shoulder, and he's very strong running the football. But I just never gotten the feeling that that organization really knew how to use him completely. You know, it's just been a kind of a. What is it?
Remember when he first came into the league, he had somewhat of a wide receiving core, and then when they went to the Super Bowl, their biggest weakness was their wide receiving core. They never addressed that. I mean, look at Kelvin Benjamin. He's a free agent now.
Yeah.
Right. They never went out and got him somebody that could at least catch the ball. So you're relying on his arm talent to rocket it in there to some C-grade wide receivers and running the football. That's not going to help you. They're Michael Vicking him.
Yeah, they didn't build something around him. And it's like, what I want to see for Baker next year is better than what he has. I mean, he deserves, I think that Jarvis Landry deserves to be the slot receiver. He needs to be the 3 guy. He just needs to be the inside guy who works the inside of the field so that we have legitimate burners. That we have the ability to stretch the field. You saw the first play of the game. I don't know that Perriman is ever going to be really responsible and capable of consistently catching the football. That's been a problem for him. But you can see that the arm strength is all there with Baker Mayfield. He heaved that first play, and that was right on the money. If you're able to stretch the field like that, the thing that I like, and it's interesting, I'm seeing kind of a similar thing with Colin Sexton of the Cavaliers, is, efficiency starts mattering at a certain point. And, Colin Sexton was just driving the ball to the hole and getting it blocked by every forward and center in the league. And now he's dribbling the ball and keeping a man on his hip. And when he's got a guy on his hip, he either goes around him or he takes a quick floater. He's not always doing the same thing. And this is what I'm seeing about Baker Mayfield too, is that he's taking his shots, but he's also learning the ebb and flow of the game. So it's really gratifying to see how he has developed. And I think it's exciting. And I think he needs more weapons, is what I think.
And Mr. Moohead, oh, never mind. I'll let you talk. Never mind.
No. Go ahead. No. Go.
Oh, no. I was going to say, I think it's kind of fascinating that Jarvis touchdown, like, I almost jumped out of my seat, and I'm not even a Browns fan. I could just imagine how you guys, what were y'all going through? I want to know from the panel, what were y'all going through when that touchdown was made?
In all honesty, it caught me by surprise because I thought we did away with that whole, Steelers wide receiver reverse by the goal line trickery. But because we hadn't shown it in weeks, teams weren't looking for it because it's pretty much a Todd Haley staple.
I think he was referring to the touchdown pass.
The touchdown pass?
The 50-yard touchdown pass.
Oh, that right there? Yeah, it did catch me off guard because I didn't see it when it happened. I saw the replay.
Oh,
what were you doing? You were staring at the tits behind you?
No, when I watch the games, I go upstairs. I've got 2 TVs upstairs. I have the NFL Red Zone, then I watch the game on the regular TV. And what it is, I laid down, ate my pizza, had my beer, I laid down, and I dozed off. And I heard Jim Donovan screaming on the radio, so I woke up and I had to catch the
alcohol.
But I am glad. I put it like this, because I don't mean to do that. Because I fell asleep on the second half of the Texans game, so I didn't see it. So I didn't do a broadcast on it. But the replay, it let me know that I need to pay attention to every single minute of these games because we have a quarterback. We're never out of games. Yeah, we have a chance to win. So
that ball was threaded. And, Jarvis Landry is paid to make that catch. I mean, when I saw the rerun on that, Stephen, it was like, wow, that ball was thrown in between 2 guys, and
it was a small window,
very small window, in stride, and it was a great catch, no question about that. But the throw to me was more impressive than the catch because it was threaded in from such a distance. That ball was like a laser beam. I mean, the guy's got a tremendous arm,
and the chances of that getting picked off because that window was small was highly likely. It was highly likely it would have been picked off rather than score a touchdown. If you consider those, makes that throw even more spectacular.
Well, I mean, you see it all the time with Watson at quarterback. When a guy's got a plus arm, and the thing that was so funny to me is, when we were all talking about Baker, prior to the draft, and people were asking me, what do you think about Baker Mayfield? And then they were making all the Johnny Manziel comparisons, and I knew that he wasn't Johnny Manziel, but I didn't hear any of the scouts rave about this man's prolific arm strength. I mean, I heard plus arm, but not like, not like Allen in Buffalo's cannon, okay, which everybody was raving about this massive cannon this kid had. They weren't talking about this kind of plus arm strength from Baker Mayfield, but I don't know why not. Because I'll tell you, when he steps into that ball, and even when he's rolling, he gets that ball down the field, and it's a real weapon. I'm really surprised that nobody talked about that early in the whole draft scenario. And it's not like I sat and watched Oklahoma football games, so I wouldn't know. And where people were asking me about him, and then I was watching film on him, I said, it looks like he's got a pretty good arm, but I had no idea it was this good. I guess that's what I'm surprised about.
Hey, remember, Moo, the one thing they also talked about was his accuracy, and he's definitely shown that, other than, of course, the first half last week. But Stephen, that's kind of puts that same throw in that perspective, is that he put that ball right there, and for as far down the field as it was. One other thing you were talking about, Moo, was about weapons. And Nick Chubb has really just, they brought up a stat during the broadcast. This was his 5th straight game with a rushing touchdown. First time for the Browns since Greg Pruitt. All right. There are several of you who were not alive that are watching or listening to this when Greg Pruitt played football for the Browns. Okay. And that is an amazing stat. And then the only thing that drove me crazy was when they're trying to get that first down, they go to the 5 wide spread and they run Baker up the middle. It's like, you have Nick Chubb. I don't care if they all know he's getting the ball. Okay, maybe fake it to him, then run the quarterback draw, do something. But dear God, why they definitely were looking at Chubb as a weapon, and he's definitely proved his worth on that. So,
well, he has a surge. They talk about running backs who have a nose for the goal line, and Chubb is, as long as he's not running east-west, it's really hard when he gets his speed up and his weight moving forward to bring him down without him carrying somebody over the goal line. He's got a second surge, and we've missed that in Cleveland forever. Running backs that punish the defense. And Mrs. Moohead was sitting there saying, he's got a bit of Marcus Allen in him, and it's like, but he's so much bigger and more powerful than that. He has really good feet, and he does have that glide factor. Once he gets into the secondary, it's really impressive watching how he dekes people and moves his feet. But I don't know. He was contained pretty well today. Chubb was contained pretty well. But when he gets through that initial hole, man, anything can happen. Anything can happen because he's hard to bring down. And we didn't see anything from Duke Johnson at all. We saw nothing except a negative 6-yard run. He wasn't targeted once in the passing game.
But he's dealing with a situation, so they didn't really want to get him too involved in the game because his grandmother died, and they wasn't really sure if he was going to play this Sunday or not.
Well, I understand all of that, but if you decide to play, you're part of the game plan. He wasn't even in the game plan, and that doesn't do anything. He's valueless as a decoy. Let's put it that way. But, and Hilliard is not a guy who's going to scare anybody. But, I'm happy to have Chubb on the field. And I like his calmness. I like the fact that he doesn't get overly excited. He doesn't have a lot of that macho schmuck in him. He's just out there. He's doing a workman's job. And his attitude is just to get up at the end of each play, go back to the huddle, and attack the next time. Got a real workman's lunch bucket kind of attitude, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, he's like the anti-Baker as far as personality. He keeps it all under wraps.
Well, and which I think is a great thing to have balance on a team. Personality-wise. We got some excitable guys. We got Demarius on defense. We got Landry on offense. And we got Baker on offense. But, it's also good to have some of the low-key guys who just, strap it up, go out there and perform, Crumbly Q is saying Leroy Kelly. To me, Leroy Kelly was a mutter. Leroy Kelly was a guy who actually ran through holes sideways. Very strange running back, Leroy Kelly. But a guy who was great on a wet track. Chad's in the chat room. Here we go, Brownies. Yeah. I mean, it's taken us a long time to get to this point, but I'm thrilled that we makes me hurt a little bit less, watching a game like this. And you have to win games like this sometimes where you're not like on top of this the whole game and you fight back a number of times to take the lead and you finish off the games. These are the types of games that I want to see the Browns win, the closer ones, and I'm looking at Lamar Jackson. He had 13 carries for 71 yards. Hope it was worth it. You know what I mean? It's I just don't see running a quarterback that much.
There could be 2 unemployed Harbaughs before the end of the year.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Man. I said there could be 2 unemployed Harbaughs before the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think they're going to fire him.
Hey, Mr. Moore, can I ask you guys?
I don't think they will either.
Go ahead, Steven.
What was the difference between Baker Mayfield in the Texans game throwing deep passes down the field versus this game? What was the difference in the game planning?
I mean, obviously in the first half, they were daring him to do things that he did, and he was just on fire. I mean, he reminded me of a prolific 3-point shooter catching fire in the NBA. Everything he threw was right dead on target. He only threw 10 passes in the first half of the game because we just didn't have the ball that much. He put up 176 yards. In the second half, it looked like they had taken some things away and that we were trying to move the ball more on the ground to kind of get a little more physical with them. It was just the opposite. There was no first half against the Texans because the Texans were on top of us so quickly. And the second half, it was a forced comeback, just a lopsided kind of no run, all pass kind of thing. And the Texans really controlling the clock of the game and the possession. And they were giving up more yardage for Baker in the second half than what they were willing to do in the first half. But it's a team game. When all is said and done, it isn't just Baker Mayfield. You've got to have an offensive line that blocks. You got to have running backs. You've got to have a defense that performs and keeps you in the game. You've got to have wide receivers who catch the football. It's a series of things. It's not just one guy. And, Baker looks like a guy who's going to be able to take what you give him. And I think as he gets older, you're going to see, what we haven't seen is as much of the Brett Favre thing that we've seen, that we hear about with him just going off like a cannon. He's been a little bit more, I don't know how I would put it. A little more conservative when he needs to be. I think that he's learning how to control the flow of a game. I think it's great.
Yeah, he's looked like, because it looked like he's growing every game. And if you look at the Texans game, of course they tried the short passing game, which the Texans took away. But in the second half, they opened it up. He was undaunted. He wasn't scared. And that's definitely growth. I would definitely say that's because of growth and moxie.
No, R. Jones is saying Kitchen's play calling has been so much better than Haley's. And, I really do believe that it's just, what do guys do better? I guess that's what the issue is. It's calling plays and calling the sets that guys do better. It was a little bit tough.
Well, and he invested the time. He also invested the time to actually find out from the guys themselves what they do better.
Yeah,
from the offensive linemen to the receiving core to the running backs to Baker Mayfield, and then kind of congealing the plays together.
Do we take it back to Iron Eagle's interview with Hugh Jackson? Like, hey, did you guys try to incorporate any things that Baker did in college really well? Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing it, dummy?
Yeah, it's a peculiar thing when you don't play to your players' strengths. And, one thing I will say is, there were 2 plays where I want to say that Zeitler was called for holding on virtually back-to-back plays. There was a stretch there where everything seemed to be a penalty on Cleveland, and we survived that whole thing, which is great to see. But some of the calls, you wonder why on a specific play they would call, something like that. there was the one hold on Carey that was so obvious, but then there was one they got him for that I didn't even see, that they said that he grabbed him by the back. But quite honestly, I was not buying into that. That was during that period where there were like 3 or 4 holding calls that kept moving the ball back for the Browns when we needed a touchdown. They can control the game with these calls, and it is the one play on Zeitler, I didn't see that, and he was shaking his head, and I didn't really make that much of it. One I did, where I saw him grab the guy and tackle him, and that's obviously a hold, but I didn't see the other one. And again, I don't like to see games decided on that basis. I kind of would rather see games decided on the basis of the skill level of the players out on the field. Another thing that was kind of obvious, they had one wide open touchdown that we were lucky, that Carey was lucky that he got back into the play, because the ball was underthrown. And I don't remember who the receiver was, but he had Carey beaten by 3 yards going down the sideline deep. And if that ball is just put where it's supposed to be put, there's no way that Carey closes that gap. Instead, he kind of jumped up, and I was kind of surprised they didn't flag him for getting there a little early, because he was doing everything else wrong technique-wise. But TJ Carey, bad technique, it's an understatement.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't even really be out there anyway. I mean, the only reason he's there is because Ward is out, and he's basically now stepped into that role. So, with Mitchell back this week, so that's going to be an upgrade, a position of upgrade. I mean, you can never have enough good defensive backs. Obviously, I can see a lineman. We need a number 1 wide receiver. There's you can always use a linebacker for sure. So there's some spots that are going to be available. But you know what? This is now a team that has had a lot of cap room, where people actually want to come here now. They look exciting, and they're moving in the right direction. Whereas we could throw all the money in the world at some people, and they weren't going to come here no matter what. It just that was out there before.
Yeah.
Not when you're 1 for 2 seasons with 1 victory. Who the hell wants to, no matter how much money they pay you, people want to win.
But, it really is amazing. Somebody's pointing out that you don't see any more of the Tyrod Taylor, mentoring, Baker Mayfield, but he has become the Maytag repairman. It's just incredible. By the way, Cincinnati is knocking at the door. 4th down and goal from the half-yard line, and they jump off sides. It's like Cincinnati is just pathetic. They just are just in their own way.
The Raiders are up on the Steelers.
Oh, yeah. But what's the score?
I guess he was going to have to see the.
Oh, hey, Mr. Moohead, you are aware that the Browns are on a short week this week. Well, semi-short week. You got a Saturday night game at Denver. Are you looking forward to that game?
Oh, absolutely. And it's going to be a hard game, because Denver with Von Miller, it's going to be a real challenge. The game gets sped up when you play teams like that. And they have a system there that is going to be ball controlled and not make mistakes. I think that's what they're about, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield. These are great learning.
We're going to see some chub on chub crime.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's some serious pass rush up there. And that's going to be a challenge again for our offensive line. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be different. I'll probably only wind up doing a halftime show, because the game's going to be over. I might do a brief post-game show on that, but it's an 8:00 start, right, on Saturday.
Yeah, 7:20 here, so it's 8:20 your time. So you're looking at 11:30.
Yeah, we'll see. It's not like I'm going anywhere and doing anything. But it is kind of it's different having a Saturday night game. But
and a Saturday night one too. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, I don't remember a Saturday night game.
That's pastime for Pastor.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ace Whitaker mistypes. Our defense needs a stub lineman, and he meant stud, of course. We got plenty of stubby linemen. We got plenty of those. We need a stud, all right. And there's Tony the Calf in the chat room. Where are you, Tony? I thought for sure you'd show up with your camera. Or you know what I was thinking the problem for Tony is? His camera and his microphone only work after dark.
You know what? Going back to that Denver game, I think that we can take Denver because their quarterback play is mediocre. So we can really focus in on their running game. Plus, Ward will be back.
Yeah.
I give us a chance. I give us a chance to win that game. Is that a home game too?
No, that's
on the road in Denver.
Oh, good. That will be even better because I want those fans to go home pissed.
Yeah, you're hoping for a lot. That's a tough place to play. That's a
really tough place to play.
Think about Mr. Ruhed, back-to-back days. You're gonna have a Friday show, then you're gonna have a Saturday post game and halftime. That's gonna be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's going to be different, and it sounds like that Tony wants to do something after the game too. So,
well, if for some chance you can't do the
I'll let everybody know. If you guys want to go ahead and do your own thing. I completely get it. Yeah, not a problem. For me, it's more than anything, it's just getting good rest. I mean, getting good sleep is probably the singular most important part, especially when you're on pain meds like I am. And it makes you tired a little bit, it takes a little bit of your energy away. And
did they put you on Vicodin or Tramadol?
They put right now I'm on hydrocodone, so it would be Norco is what they technically call it, which would be Vicodin in your language. It's a combination of hydrocodone and acetaminophen.
Yeah, that shit can get very addicting. Be careful.
Yeah, that's the most prescribed drug and addictive drug. But again, I don't have an addictive personality. You're supposed to be on these things for a couple of weeks after this procedure. I'm going to see.
Other than
I'm trying to ice down and keep some of the pain under control by icing. But it's going to be it's you need them. Believe me. I'm not a big believer in pain medications, and maybe too much information, but I haven't shit since I started taking them. That's one of the great side effects, constipation of these damn things. So
had a hip replacement, had the same situation. Yeah, it's you definitely get a break from that for a few days.
How long did it take for you to get it back?
I want to say I was off the pain meds after about 4 or 5 days, about 4 days, hip done. And then it probably took me, I had to take some extra laxatives to get that action back going. So it probably took me close to a week before I finally got through. And that was not a comfortable situation in the least.
No, were you taking any kind of laxatives at all?
Not until later. Not until after I got off the pain meds. Because we
Miralax.
Really need you to do that.
Yeah, I'm on Miralax right now, and it literally ain't doing shit.
But pain meds, I didn't even want to eat.
Yeah.
It was. I had no desire to eat much of anything. I had a little bit of things here and there, but just didn't feel like eating, which was great since I'm such a fat pig. So.
Well, I mean, I'm not eating a ton, but you have to eat in order to take the pain meds. I have to eat. So beside my, it's funny. I have like a oatmeal cookie that is a gluten-free oatmeal cookie that sits at my bedside. And this morning, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and had to take a pain pill, right? And and it's like you're constantly, and you have to stay on that schedule because if you don't,
Yeah, it was every 4 hours, basically. I would sleep for I'd be awake for an hour. The drugs would kick in. I'd be out for 3 hours. The drugs would start wearing off, and I'd take another pill.
I'm not sleeping during the day. I'm just continuing to soldier on. But yeah, you know, the good thing about it is you sleep at night, and it helps you sleep through the knee pain. That's the good thing about it. The not so good thing about it is that it kind of I'll tell you, the mental thing wouldn't even bother me so much if it weren't for this fucking constipation thing. And I wish I could move better. If I could get up and get around and move more, I could get things flowing through my body, but you can't because you can't really walk that much. They don't want you doing that shit.
So how long are you going to be bedridden before you're able to have mobility?
Well, I have mobility now. It's that the biggest mistake, and we can turn this into a medical program, but I think people should know that the biggest mistake that people make when they have knee replacements is they get out with all these nerve blocks shot up on them and they want to start walking. And a lot of people who have bad arthritic knees, they want to be able to walk without pain, and that's what's being promised to them. And they go home and they don't feel anything, and they start walking too much, and the knee just blows up on them. Your rehab has nothing to do with walking. The initial part of your rehab is range of motion. It is icing, reducing swelling, and then trying to work with flex and extension. That's it. So it's a number of weeks.
All that good stuff.
Say again.
Being able to stand and all that wonderfulness.
Oh, they kick your ass out of bed the first play around with that.
Oh no,
they're like,
no!
Hey, we just chopped your name. Yeah, they just cut my leg off, and they were like, okay, you got to get out of bed. I'm like, no. They're like, no, yes, you have to get out of bed now. I'm like, and then I had to climb up something like that before they let me out. And I'm just like, you're kidding. The walker and everything, and my house has a lot of stairs, stairs to get in, stairs up, upstairs, stairs downstairs. Oh my goodness. It was like, so when I first started, for me to get from the door to the sidewalk, which is maybe 20 feet, that was a big deal. And then to go another 20 feet to the corner of the house and back to the front of the door, it was like just build every day, a little bit every day, build a little bit.
And they're actually, for me, I walk 3 or 4 or 5 times in the house for 5 minutes at a time. And I'm using a walker. Yep. And I'm just making sure my feet are straight. The funkiest thing about this, guys, is that my, because of the bad arthritis, my leg was pointing off like in this direction. I had a deformity. People who have bad arthritis have deformities. And now I'm looking at my leg and it's dead straight, and it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? So right off the bat, you're really looking at something you're not acclimated to because your foot's going to hit the ground differently. So you don't really want to start walking a whole lot. You want to slowly work your way back into it, So it's going to be an interesting way back. Let's just put it that way. And I'm not paying attention to walking so much. What I'm trying to do is get my leg extended and to get it flexed. And right now it's really hard because the swelling is just so immense. So you're working at cross purposes right now, and that's why the icing and elevating the legs and all of that shit is so important.
Mr. Mua, did you hear Alex Smith may lose his leg? Do you remember Brian Holman? You mentioned something like that.
Is that true?
It's like an infection.
Yeah, he caught a bad
in the hospital.
Yeah, that would be a tragedy. That's an absolute tragedy. The Doggy Bones is saying, when is the right knee scheduled? No, this is my right knee. It's the left knee that might be scheduled next, but right now it's the right knee, and we got focusing on that. So it's going to be fun. Hey guys, I want to get moving though, because I want to get up on this a little bit before, then I got to ice some more and all that. but I've certainly had fun doing the program, and it was fun watching a win, you know?
Yeah.
And nothing beats winning. And guys, as always, I thank you for joining me on the panel. I'm greatly appreciative. And tomorrow, as long as the PT goes okay, I'll be here. Yeah.
Before you kick us off, I just got one more thing. What do you think about the new show we made, Moohead After Dark? I don't know. I condensed it down and sent it to your Facebook.
Yeah, the only thing I had a problem with was Tony in the beginning. I watched the very beginning of it, and I felt that he was being a little bit hard on me, and without understanding what goes into a knee replacement, and he furthered that kind of when I asked him about it. His comment to me was, I said, "Hey, I'm doing the show today." He goes, "Big deal. You were able to crawl 6 inches on a bed." I mean, I think that there is some kind of a resentment factor there, and I don't understand. But no, I mean, you guys were great. You guys have helped me out, and Hammer, you've been with me for God knows how long. I love all my viewers, and I love all the people who've ever been on the panel. Some of them have passed away. Some of them, like Lee, are gone. And Vince are gone, and I miss these fellas. But I love all the guys. I love Tony the Calf too. I love all my viewers because it's been a fun 15 years.
Hey, so
That's the drugs talking. Drugs talking.
We are doing two shows a week, Mr. Moohead After Dark.
Oh, when are they on?
I don't know. Like Tony and I and Brian Holman are going to do it on.
Are they going to be regularly weekly scheduled, or?
Yeah.
All right. On what days of the week?
Brian,
I'll plug the show. I'll plug the show for you. What the hell are you doing there, Jim?
Oh, I'm finally getting out of the car and getting my stuff back in the house here.
Jesus Christ, you're like a nomad.
Beating the hell out of stuff. Yeah,
Is Hugh Jackson biting you on the leg?
He doesn't have to wait for the tape on that one.
But seriously, just let me know when the program is. If you have it regularly scheduled, then I'd be more than happy to help promote it, because you guys are helping me out for nothing on the show, and I think that's wonderful.
And I've been promoting your channel on mine too by saying sub the Moohead Radio and stuff too. So.
Oh, and believe me, I don't have any problem with that. It's and the fact is, I can only do so much, and I'm only willing to do so much. So, but the Browns post-game and halftime shows are precious to me, especially when you do them for so many years and the team has consistently lost, and then we're winning now. It's a lot more significant,
Oh, so question, Mr. Moohead, if you do host our show on your channel twice a week. So you'll just host it, and then you'll just kind of do your own thing, and then when we end it, you'll just kind of end it like that.
Nobody has formally asked me to do anything like that. I don't understand how that would work.
I don't know. We did the first show on Tony's channel.
Yeah, I'm not going to share the credentials of my channel. I don't think that is a wise thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I would be more than happy to cross-link. Well, I don't know really enough about YouTube. I've done the show so many different ways through the years that the YouTube live thing and the whole Hangout thing is kind of I haven't got into any great depth about this, but I'll see what methodologies. I did see something crop up on my screen saying there are new ways to share now on YouTube, and I'm not sure how they're changing that, but there may be good ways of helping direct traffic. And really, the funny thing is, I'll have like 1,000 people watch this show, but I only have like 301 subscribers. But I don't even know how to get a hold of my subscribers and say, hey, if you like my show 2 days a week, these guys got something going too. I don't even know. So
you just post a video.
Say what?
You just post a video saying so, and you give them the links. You put the links in the description box.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, give me the links then.
I sent you the link on your wall the other day. I condensed it down to an hour and 10 minutes, and then
quick update. Quick update. The Chargers are up 14-6, although the Bengals are driving and the 49ers are up on the Broncos 13-9.
Well, this is the wrong week for the Broncos to play a bad game. I was hoping that would be next week. So,
I think they got marched through one of the shit-strewn streets of San Francisco.
That and Saunders.
Yeah.
So they all have hepatitis now.
And Saunders scores. Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to get motoring now. Thanks. I appreciate all the help. Okay, guys. And Stephen, get to me on that. All right.
Okay, no problem.
All right, thanks. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this edition of the Browns Postgame Show. We are winners today, 26-20. Congratulations to the Cleveland Browns. We'll be back again tomorrow, God willing, if I get through PT, okay. I always have little asterisks next to these things.
The Bengals just scored. Touchdown.
It happens, All
right.
And we'll see you tomorrow night on the regular Moohead Radio Show, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care, guys. And you at home, thanks for watching. And hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.
Moo.